Hey guys, welcome back, it's Meg. Today we are going over my UI and everything that goes into it, hardware, graphics, and any add-ons or WeakAuras that I use for combat. These are all available for your guys' use if you want them. They are on my website and I will post a link to that in the description. Starting out with hardware, I actually use the Razer Tartarus Pro and a Corsair Scimitar Wireless Elite. I've been using the gamepad since around BFA, and I find it really easy to use for long periods of time, and it's very comfortable. So I'm a big fan of these. I've had people with arthritis or other conditions affecting joints talk about how comfortable they are. Obviously, this isn't medical advice, I'm just sharing what people have shared with me about their own experiences with using one. When you first start using one, it takes about a week or two to get used to things, especially with movement, but after that, it feels very natural. Full disclosure is that these gamepads usually last me about 2 to 3 years, and the only thing that I've ever had break on them is the joystick. Obviously I use this thing a lot, and I even use it for some games outside of WoW, so it depends on how much you use it and how hard you are on the joystick. If you're left-handed, they unfortunately don't make a left-handed version of the Razer, but if you want something similar for left-handed people, there is the Azeron keypad, which I haven't used, but my boyfriend uses one and he's a big fan. The Azerons are a bit higher of an investment upfront, but they have replaceable parts and they're a little bit more customizable. So if the joystick goes out, you can just replace the joystick instead of the entire device. The Corsair Scimitar is my favorite MMO mouse that I've used, and I appreciate that this one is wireless. I have used the wired ones in the past, and the only thing I've ever had break on these mice are the scroll wheel pin, and I've only ever had one break, and that was after about 5 years of use. So I haven't had that issue recently with heavier use. Usually with the wireless one, I'll just plug this in at the end of the day to charge it, but you can go quite a while without charging. I also need to disclose that I do have affiliate links for both Corsair and Razer, but I was using and recommending these products to people before I ever worked with Razer or Corsair, so I genuinely love them, and I wouldn't recommend them if I wouldn't use them myself. You can see when I'm playing, I don't actually use my keyboard at all, and I really don't move a lot. Even my mouse hand moves very little. I'm using 4K monitors and my DPI is set to 3300, and the only other thing that I use to play is a foot pedal for push to talk. It's just a $25 one. I've had it for 7 years and it hasn't broken and it works great. And lastly, the font that I use for all of my in-game text is Expressway Bold, and I would recommend this video from Crescent as a tutorial on how to do that. It's pretty easy, it took me like maybe 5 minutes. These are the graphics that I run, and I have my PC specs available in the description if you're curious. I think these settings are mostly standard at this point. I'm pretty sure I got them from a Quasi video, so definitely go check him out. I just like to turn my ground clutter to 1 because it's clutter, it's in the name. Usually when I get people asking about graphics though, it's because of the Stinky Bright potions or Inky Black potions, which are in-game consumables. I have done a short about these in the past if you want to see how it affects your visibility. First up, we are going to go through all of the add-ons that I use for combat. Cell is what I've been using for my party frames, and on my frames I am tracking our group's health, all of my HOTS, active debuffs from enemies, my own mana bar, as well as active externals or group defensives like Darkness or AMZ. This is all pretty standard tracking, and frames are one of the most important tools for a healer, so I like them to be clean. I've been told my frames are small, but I like to think that they're a respectable average size. But of course, you can resize them and customize them in any way that you would like. My biggest recommendation would just be to make it something that works with your brain, whether it is changing the colors, changing the shape, or changing how you track things with the different icons. I like my frames vertical and close to the center of my screen, but I know a lot of people also find success with horizontal frames below their character, so that may be worth trying. Omni CD is what I use to track our kicks, personal and group defensives, as well as health pots. I try to avoid tracking too many things like DPS cooldowns because I don't care about those, so I limit it to what I do care about as a healer. I don't track tank defensives anymore because I'm at a point with my group where I don't need to babysit my tank, but if you're still pugging or you're uncomfortable with tank healing, then you can definitely track your tank's personal defensives as well. Bartender is what I use for my action bars and quick keybind mode, but the default wall bars are pretty good. I mostly just change them for aesthetic reasons. Plater is my nameplate add-on, and I am tracking enemy casts and who is targeted by the cast, as well as any active CC on the enemies. This is where I'm looking most of the time if I'm not looking at my frames, because this is where I'm seeing the incoming damage. Bigwigs and Littlewigs is where I am getting my enemy timers from. This is in conjunction with a WeakAura, but it's also what's putting the ability cooldown timers on my plater to the left. Opie is the radial menu that I use for quick access to mounts and other useful toys for the dungeon. I also use Plater for my friendly nameplates so that they are nice and clean and easy to tell who is who. Moving on to WeakAuras, this is the monk pack where most of my buff uptimes are tracked, as well as things like Manatee stacks, Shaylan's gift stacks, Renewing Mist cooldown, my Dispel timer, and my Vitality tracker. This is also where I track my personal defensives, even though I do use Omni CD. I usually use that mostly for the rest of the group, and then my personal defensives I will still reference my WeakAuras for. Dance of the Wind is also a WeakAura in this pack, and it is just to the right of my frames. Below my feet is the Center Aura pack, which is included in the Monk pack, but it does track a few other things. The green triangles are tracking my Jadefire Stomp. If it is light green, I am in my Jadefire Stomp and eligible for a reset. If it's dark green, I have my Awakened Jadefire buff, but I'm not eligible for a reset because I'm not standing in my Stomp. The second set of triangles is just a Secret Infusion buff that matches colors with my stats WeakAura by the damage meters. The small glowing spark in the middle tracks my Jade Empowerment stacks. If I have 1 stack, it is light blue, and if I have 2 stacks, it is white. And lastly, the light blue curves on the outside of the triangles track my Lighter Than Air uptime. For the Mythic Plus pack, this includes Reload's Mythic Plus timer, the Raid Ability Timeline WeakAura, which works with Big and Little Wigs or DBM to give you this vertical timeline on mob and boss abilities, and then a B-Res and Lust tracker in the bottom right. If you're playing with a Blood DK, it also includes the DK Can Death Strike WeakAura, which will basically tell you whether or not they have enough runic power to use Death Strike, which is really helpful so you know that if you need to heal them or not. And in the bottom right corner, I kind of just have a miscellaneous collection of things for you guys as viewers. This includes Detailed Damage Meters, which is an add-on, as well as the TrueFeed GCD add-on to show my spellcasts, and a WeakAura to show my stats. I don't use these much when I'm playing, but it is just so you can more easily tell what's happening as a viewer. And like I said at the beginning, everything will be available in the description. I will include links to the hardware that I use, any videos mentioned, as well as the UI page on my website for profile imports for add-ons and WeakAuras. I hope that this video was helpful. If you guys have any comments or questions, please feel free to comment or reach out to me in my Discord channel or while I'm live. Thanks for watching.